All right, we got 3 air conditioning units here. Gonna tear them down and see what we can get out of them. I haven't done them before. I know there's a lot of copper and aluminum in it. And I know it's mixed. And so I haven't been really tried one, see how it is to take it apart. I've got some ideas, but we got 3 of them. Let's tear them down and see how they turn out. All right, let's get to it.
As I started tearing this down, it really was just about getting everything off the outside so we could get to the inside and see what's aluminum, what's copper, what we can save, what we can't. Just focusing on taking the outsides apart now. We'll get that done, and then we will see what's inside it and what we have to do to take it apart. Let's keep at it. So as I get the outer shell off, first thing I start taking off is the wires, get those out of the way. There's also some copper lines right here on the edge. I will focus on those shortly as well. Get the copper lines out. So what I see is 2 radiators, style Century, which is copper lines inside. Just took the one out there, and aluminum wrapped around it. So we'll tear those apart later, show you that, but we'll just keep taking the insides apart. The electric line, and you'll see the motor here, those I'll have a tear down later. Just really focused on getting it completely torn down and taking the radiator, as I call them, apart with the copper aluminum. So that's what you'll see in this meltdown. So the funny part is, I was taking the second one apart, I realized all 3 of these, I believe, were different manufacturers, different models for sure, but they were all built almost identical, so all the same screw location, screws, things like that. So really was able to tear it apart similar to the way I did the first one, and the third one actually didn't record. I'll show you everything we got out of all 3 of them, but it didn't record the third one, just purely it was the same as the first few.
All right, everybody, you've seen me tear these down. 3 different air conditioning units. These are old, sitting around for a while, so weren't working, so we actually tore them down. You can see I got a lot of copper from the back side of them, and 3 different motors. Not going to tear those down. I'll save those for a motor tear down. I've got 6 different units here that have copper lines ran through the inside, and this should be aluminum on the outside. And then some wire. Wire, again, I'll save. Scrap out some of the wire. Some of it I stripped down, so we'll save it. Mainly you're going to see me melt this here, all of this copper, and you're going to see me tear these down, and we'll melt those as well. So these are always tricky to tear down. I just recently saw somebody on YouTube cut these up, tear them down. It looked very simple, but there's a lot of work to them. So I'll show you some of that now. I won't bore you with everything, but I'll show you a little bit of that, and then we'll get melting it down, see what we can get out of it. All right, let's get to it.
So I'm cutting these across the copper and with the grain of the aluminum. The purpose of that is so we can actually pull the copper out, which seemed to be everything I've seen online as the easiest way to do it. I will say one thing I did learn is the larger you cut these sections, the more you're pulling the copper through the aluminum. So I'd recommend making it smaller cuts, 1.5 to 2 inches versus some I did good, some I did 3 to 4, so I had to go back and cut them later. But I just highly recommend that, and get as close to the edge when you're cutting the ends off as you can, so you're just pulling through that metal piece on the end, not the metal and aluminum. But we'll continue cutting these apart, and then I'll show you a couple different ways that I tore them took the aluminum off the copper. So I started off just the copper lines that were inside there. I'm cutting them in smaller pieces because I thought I was going to use my electric forge and the smaller crucible, so I cut everything into smaller pieces. I didn't realize how much copper there actually was in these units, or I might have done them a little bigger, but they actually were able to pour into the larger crucible easier, the size they were, so just keep tearing these apart. So a couple things to notice on these. Some, as I went through those, have 2 layers of copper tubes inside, and some had 3 layers of copper tubes inside. This is something I saw. Just use a utility knife and cut down through the aluminum onto the copper, and then you're able to pull these out. It actually worked for the double pretty decent. The triple, the inside one, was a bear to get to, but this is the way I'd seen it, so I started off this way. And then I'll show you different ways in the future. You can see already as I'm doing a triple one with the needle nose pliers, trying to find different ways to get the center ones out. So it didn't take long. Actually went back to the doubles here, focus on those first since it seemed to have a good system for them. Again, just cutting the aluminum and pulling them out the side seemed to work. So what you saw me doing is using the pliers. I pinch the end, twist them, and pull them out. And it went successful, but what I did learn is on the ends with the aluminum, if I peeled some of that off, which is what I'm doing here, if I peel it off and give it a little freedom, I can grab hold better to the copper, twist it, and when I twist it, it's breaking it free, and then work on pulling it out. So, but the big step first is getting some of that aluminum off. Took a little while. You just basically peel layer by layer, pull it off. So I'll keep working at that. What are we doing? Yes, I thought the same thing. So what I found is I was pulling those out. Some of the copper was really attached to the aluminum. So basically I just took a wrench. It's bigger than the copper. What I'm doing when I'm hitting down, actually hitting the aluminum down so it breaks the seal, so to speak, free of the copper. I'll actually do this on both sides. Then it actually comes out free. Now there's some that still get locked in, but for the most part it actually frees them up. So I can actually pull them out easier. Yes, this was a lot of work, by far, not easy, but We got quite a bit out of it, so I'll show you that here shortly.
All right, now that we've got all this cleaned up, let's see what we can do to melt it down. It was not as easy as what I thought it was going to be, and a lot more copper than I expected. We've got about 14 pounds of copper here. Aluminum looks like a lot. It's very thin. Should melt down pretty quick, so not as much. It was a little bit of a problem getting these out. I showed you a couple different ways I did it. But now we got it done. Let's get this out of the way. We're going to melt. Actually going to open up the garage door here and do a little melt outside. We'll see how it goes. We'll do the aluminum first, and then we'll jump on the copper, clean them up, see how much we get out of it. All right, let's get to it.
Beautiful day outside, sun's out, a couple clouds, not a lot, so let's enjoy it and do a little melting. Setting up as I normally do, and what you're going to see here is I'm actually balling up the aluminum as much as I can, because once this gets hot I can't just shove the aluminum down inside. So I'm going to ball a little bit up, prep it ahead of time, and then we'll get it inside, get it started, and get it starting to melt. So as I was melting this, I found there was a lot of dross that I was cleaning out of it. One thing I've done when I do aluminum cans, I probably should have done it here, is I'll start with fresh chunks of aluminum to get a nice boiling pot at the bottom of the melted aluminum, and then as I put the cans in it, it actually melts better. And towards the end, I actually was doing it once I had a mount set up. It was working better, but it's just something I probably should have tested out ahead of time. As you can see, I still use the bread pans here. We'll do one out of cast iron maybe at some point, or a metal one at some point make. But you can see the bottom of it. They're so thin, you can see the bottom starting to glow. it warms up really quick. It does deform it, but it holds the large size of the bar well, so I'll keep doing that. But I always like to show the heat.
As we let the aluminum cool a little bit, the crucible cool, I'm actually going to switch over to the copper. I'm going to do a little smaller pours, so I'm doing smaller bars. Normally I just pour these and store them. I might actually try to sell these. So I'm going to pour smaller bars and see how they do. If you think you'd like to see how they sell, what they're selling for, stuff like that, let me know. Leave it in the comments. But we'll pour a little smaller bars. I'll show you that here shortly. But let's get the copper in and get that warming up.
So here, I'm putting more of the copper in the crucible. I actually have to get the crucible out because I dropped a piece of copper outside. Didn't want it to melt inside the furnace, so went and grabbed some needle nose pliers, got that out, and we're back on track. Just loading her up, and we'll continue melting. The stir stick I'm using there is a graphite stick. It works real well. I don't use it with aluminum much, but I use it with the copper smaller pours. And as long as it's warm, when it's cool it does collect some of the copper, but as it warm, like I put it back in, stir it around, it warms up. Copper comes off real easy and allows me to stir it up and mix it. I'm just going to do small batches here. I'm not going to try to get too crazy and do too large of batches. Just make some small pours, but we'll keep melting it and get to pouring it. Here we're just heating up the molds, and the purpose for that is to get any moisture out of the molds themselves. If they have any moistures in them, when you pour the hot in there, it creates a steam and pops. So we're just trying to eliminate that. So we'll do that and warm it up, and then we'll actually do the pour itself. Again, doing small pours. These are small molds, but let's just get small pours done and get through the batch. All right. So when I do the pour, I try to leave enough left at the bottom so we can start the next melt easier. When you have some of that melted copper or any metals and you add to it, it melts quicker. So did have some left over at the bottom. I like that. I'll keep doing it. The other thing too is it gives me time just keep this going. It allows the copper to cool down. What I've learned, when I allow it to cool, it comes out of the molds better. I've seen some people do it, get them out of the molds red hot, and it works for them. Just for me, it allows me more time to let it cool down and come out easier. So that's what I do. So anytime I'm cleaning these up, I'm using a wire brush, an actual brass wire wheel. And the reason is it's softer metal, so it actually cleans up the outer surface but doesn't do any grooves in it. So always start with that.
All right, we're all done cleaning everything up, pouring everything, done with it finally. 3 air conditioning units turned into this. We've got multiple small copper bars, 2 large aluminum bars. A lot of dross with this, the aluminum. Surprise, kind of like tin cans or aluminum cans, but there was a lot more and I didn't expect as much. But let's weigh it out and see what we ended up with. All right. £13, 9 ounces. Nice job. £10, 3 ounces. All right, you got to see how that turned out. Actually, with the copper, I actually think I might try to sell some and see how it turns out. And I'll actually take you through that. Talk to you in a later video how well it actually sells, how I'll go about it, what we sell it on, things like that. And maybe we won't. We'll just check and see. The aluminum here, a little over 10 pounds. So we're up 170 pounds year to date, but it really took a lot of time off. Been real busy with things going on. So gonna get back into it. We've got quite a bit before the end of the year. Really like to hit a bigger number, but leave it in the comments how much you think we can actually melt. We'll go from there. All right. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, hit those notifications, put some comments in there. Keep us motivated. All right. Our dream, our purpose. Thank you.